From the viewing platform at the recently refurbished Centrewood Park, the home of the White Horse Monument in Waimate, you can see not only the Pacific Ocean, but also the Southern Alps in all their splendour. If you were here over Labour weekend, those vistas would have been surpassed by the sights and sounds of rally cars and snarling engines at the Mount Chop Horsepower Hillclimb. Last year's event was won by Hayden Padden, marking the worldwide competitive debut of his Hyundai Kona EV, and made for a special performance. The organiser of the event's chairman, Rob Aikman, knows he is something special as well. Some say that this is the best hill climb road in the country.
There's a few saying that, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I think this hill climb's got heaps of potential. You know, we can see it. You know, we just need that support behind us and momentum. You know, we've got some great people behind us. You know, like Sloane Cox Motorsport that's here today, and he's looking to set a record, so that's a great thing. And obviously Hayden Padden, who unfortunately can't be here today, he's suffered an injury, but he is right behind us as well. So know him from the Mount Chop, obviously based out of Auckland, so you know it's major for us, and obviously Ken McKeown is a long supporter as well. So yeah, no, we're pretty happy with both of those sponsors.
Padden won the event, run for the first time and organised during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in a time of 1:58.38. And while this time was his course record, it was a target for the rest. It was of particular interest to Rotorua's Sloane Cox, who was competing at Waimate for the first time. This has got a bit of everything in it. It's got tight corners, it's got really steep hills, but it's also got real fast bits, so a chance to really stretch the legs.
Yeah, it's actually an awesome bit of road. How it starts fast, a nice middle bit that's windy, like a rally stage really, and then steep ending for the crest and like down in Otago again. So I can't wait to do it. It's an amazing bit of road. It's going to be heaps of fun.
So, are you treating this more like a rally stage or just a hill climb?
Like a rally stage, definitely for today. Get my head around it. Then by tomorrow, I should know it and treat it more like a hill climb, and often make the car last distance. Can't be silly in it. So a few tricky bits out there. So I'm going to be knocking the car around up the hill. So we'll start the day. I got some pace notes done from Ricky, and we'll see what they're like. And hopefully have a good shot at the hill early today, and then tomorrow be a whole new plan of attack and push harder.
The Mount Chop Hill Climb of 2021 turned up a few surprises. Possibly the biggest, the performance of the European source cross cars. Matt Penrose was second to Padden in his. You stunned everybody here last year by chasing Hayden all the way to the finish. What will you be happy with come the end of the weekend?
I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously there's a lot of guys in the cross cars that are going to be fast. Sloane's going to be fast, and there's probably some other guys in cars that will be quick too. So it's hard to say, but you know, if I can get about the same time as I did last year or quicker, I'll probably be quite happy with that.
10 weeks ago, and Michael Tall's car was a smoking wreck on the side of the road, and Mike himself healing a broken back. Fast forward to today, and here he was in his virtually brand new Mitsubishi Mirage. Tall had been an overall winner of the McKeown Petroleum Waimate 50 GT series in the past, and knew the road well. Hayden's not here, but Sloane is, and yourself, and there's some pretty quick runners here. So that might just tighten up the competition a bit. It could be pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, it could be. To be honest, I'd expect Sloane to run away from everybody, because he would, I think, be able to, at the very least, compete seriously with Hayden, if not beat him. The car's fast, and I think it'll work really good here. So he's going to be obviously very hard to beat, but who knows what happens. You know, I've also got a few changes to the car, shorter steering rack at the moment and so forth, which I haven't used yet. So I'm definitely going to be taking it easy until I feel confident in the car. But there's a lot of fast cross karts here. They're very hard to beat anywhere you go, and yeah, lots of people that are driving fast. So there'll still be some serious competition.
Josh Mitchell had won the last McKeown Petroleum Street Attack in his asphalt spec Subaru. You were the last winner of the true McKeown Petroleum Waimate 50 weekend, but that was on the seal. Here we are on the gravel and a totally different car.
Yeah, I like driving on the gravel. It's a whole different challenge, that's for sure. I was here in my own car last year, and yeah, great weekend, and then the next event after that I rolled it, and I haven't quite gotten around to fixing it yet, and so Trevor very kindly offered me his car to use for the weekend, which is pretty cool.
James Watts had spent 4 years racing in the British Rally Championship, and since moving to New Zealand had experience racing on this side of the world, but he was brand new to Waimate.
Oh, it was an adventure. We certainly found the limits on a few corners, but third event in the car, only really the second gravel event, so yeah, just enjoying it.
Now, you come from a British rallying background. Is there anything like this back home?
Oh, like, let's be honest, we're used to Welsh forests in the can I say that? Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just nice. It's got a good bit of everything in this one. So you know, the twisty stuff down the bottom, with the fast stuff up top. Certainly back home, I would have never had some of the quicker bits. So no, it's real nice.
This is a good road, especially up the top. You know, you get out of that dust and that, it's sort of a bit of an issue down the bottom there with no wind and that around, but no, look, it's just, there's so much of everything in there. Going through those fords, we're trying to take it a wee bit easier through there because it's pretty gnarly. You probably rip a friggin' tyre off going through some of those ruts, but no, it's all good though.
Demonstrating what Scott Jones was talking about, Kyle Thompson negotiating the flashback dipper and ripping the tyre off the front of the car. Chris Hay competed in his first rally at the age of 17, but it's his modern deeds that get the attention. 13 times the class champion at Ashley Forest. He was making his Mount Shop horsepower Hillclimb debut. Is it a chance to stretch the legs a bit more, say, than Ashley?
I don't know what sort of top speeds they're doing up there. Normally we run about 160 at Ashley, I think. We'll see. If we get into fifth gear, we know we're going faster.
Deborah Kibble has carved out her own path in New Zealand motorsport history, and here at Waimate as well. She was once part of the organising group that brought back this amazing event. So with that in mind, and I know you're competitive, what you'll be happy with by the end of the weekend?
To be honest, I hadn't even thought of a time. I think we're just, Heather, my co-driver, and I were just happy to you know, increase the pace based on road condition, because it's very slippery up there right now. You know, make no mistakes. I guess the goal is from the start to the finish, get a clean run that we can be absolutely happy with,
yep.
And walk away and have a few drinks with friends tonight. You know, it's about having fun with friends this weekend.
Waimate Motorsport Group are behind the organising of the event, and with the help of Ken McKeown of McKeown Petroleum, through the purchase of two 2K Cup spec cars, are helping young people into the sport as well. Driving one of the cars was Kurt Aikman. Anyone can apply to have a drive in this car?
Absolutely, everyone can apply to have a drive, and we've got some really cool people like Jimmy Little, who are willing to help and offer their advice.
You've done a few laps up this hill, but you've done a few laps up this hill in this car. What's it going to take to go fast up here this weekend?
Well, it's going to take a long time first, Phil. It does. You've got plenty of time to think about your next corner when you're in this car, but it gives you heaps of time to enjoy it. So.
Thanks to the committee, there are more people getting to experience motorsport for the first time. Far from experiencing the sport for the first time is Christchurch's Jeff Judd. Jeff Judd, in your very storied career, you've driven in or sat in the passenger seat in some pretty amazing cars, from RX-7s to BDA Escorts to Subarus, and now you're driving a Toyota.
That's all right. Like Toyotas, I've got a couple now, and I've actually driven this car way back. I didn't know when I brought it that it's an ex-Christchurch car, so yeah, it's got a bit of history. It's finally come home.
Home for the Judd family probably feels like the less travelled roads of New Zealand. Mum, Dad and the two boys regulars at most South Island events. There's a family connection, I understand that, but what is it that you love about rallying?
Oh, just the thrill, you know. I love going fast. The gravel's always fun, you know, sideways action, and you know, it's quite loose sometimes. It's great. Yeah.
And Dad lets you use one of his cars.
Which helps as well.
Harry Judd was driving a cross car he was sharing with Ari Pettigrew at Waimate, but the outcome, as these drone shots will show you, not ideal, with repercussions for both. So how far would you like to take it?
I mean, yeah, really good question that. Who knows at this stage? I mean, crashes like today don't help, but we'll see. And just get back out there and just see where it ends up.
Sadly, Harry, your day looks like it might be over, but Jeff, you keep improving, and Taylor, you keep improving as well, so you're getting closer and closer to that top 10.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm only hopefully a couple of seconds off Jeff, so if I try my luck, I might be able to catch him in the last run.
Yeah, what happens now? Who gets the bragging rights around the kitchen table?
I'm in the small class, so that's all right. He's got the big 2.8. Yeah. So if he gets me, well, good on him. Bring it on.
Spectacular South Canterbury weather continued on into Sunday, race finals day at the Mount Shop Horsepower Hillclimb at Waimate. And after the driver's briefing, everyone was making last-minute setup tweaks in preparation for another great day's action. The first sub 2 minute run in the morning's qualifying, a 1:59.17, was a new course record, but it was soon surpassed by this wild and sometimes out of control effort in Q6, smashing his own new record down to 1:56.52. We talked this morning about the perfect run, and at that stage it was a 1:59.18. Well, now you've sliced 3 seconds off it. Was that last one the perfect run?
No, it was actually quite a well, I say slow, just an easy run to make sure I got a clean run, and it shows when you do a clean run, you have the car in the right gear everywhere, you actually do a good time. So perfect morning run to get back in the groove, and now I feel ready to push some lower times and make the car do even better.
Second quickest last year and the second car to go sub 2 minutes this year, Matt Penrose in the Seamog Cross car. Originally brought into the country by Hayden Padden, the new distributor is Wellington's Jeff Ward.
Well, they're a GSXR 750 motor, come out of Portugal, these ones. It's a European rallycross vehicle, and in New Zealand we don't really have rallycross, so we're using for hill climbs, some rally sprints and street sprints, and proving really popular and also really sort of successful.
They're just good all round, and I think everybody should at least experience it, which this one is there for leasing if somebody wants it, but yeah, really, really good for youngsters and oldies as well.
Every other time we've seen you, you've been double driving, you've been driving the Beamer and the cross car. Is it better just to concentrate on the one?
Yeah, I got a bit puffed out last year doing both cars, so now it's good to focus just on the cross car this year, and obviously Matt's here as well Sean, so there's lots of tough competition, so it's going to be a good battle to try and see who comes out on top.
I think last year 2:02 or 2:03 I think was your time?
Yeah, it's definitely, everyone's going to get faster and faster. Especially, we've probably got maybe a couple of runs today and another 4 tomorrow, so yeah, I think those times will come down.
From the fully caged body protection of a rally car to the slightly less protection of being surrounded by the steel tube frame of a cross car, to nothing. Nothing but the wind whistling past your helmet, and a nylon jersey, boots and a chest protector and gloves, and welcome to quad racing. How hard is it to ride these things fast up this hill? Because this has got a bit of everything in it.
It has got a bit of everything. They go pretty well. They go pretty well on the fast stuff, and they go pretty well on the corners. They get into the corners and they get out of the corners quite well. So no, they're pretty good. They like it.
Do they run out of breath a bit on the hill, on that steep hill going up to the spectator point?
It's pretty steep up there, so it's not too bad, but along from there over those brows, those fast brows, yeah, we're getting to near the end of the legs along there.
From the quad races, the next evolution in the fun scale are the UTVs, or side-by-sides. The team from Temuka Motorcycles had a range of the latest Polaris vehicles, doing demos here at the Mount Shop Horsepower Hillclimb. It'd be pretty fair to say that UTVs have revolutionised the off-road racing scene in New Zealand.
They have indeed, yeah. It's just come a long way. With a factory machine, you can go out and race and not worry about doing any work to it. It's great, yeah.
The UTVs, like the quads, were having their own separate competition. Third place in the quads went to Gavin Dorr. In second place was George Doig, both on 4 strokes. Fastest man on the hill on a 2-stroke Yamaha Banshee was Tim Dorr, his time 2:13.32. Well, a chance to have a look at the course now. It's just over 4 kilometres long. The first obstacle is the Mount Shop camshaft corner, and then it's a full throttle blast to the Splashback Dipper. One of the most important corners is the Laurie Forestry hairpin. Got to carry the speed to the Alpine Energy Proctor Park. Then it's on to the Mount Shop Subaru Blind Brow, the Harcourt Shane Adams corner, and then the McKeown finish. In 25th place on his quad was George Doig in 2:20.01. 24th place went to one of the Polarises with Ben Hart at the wheel. His side-by-side stopping the clock with a 2:20.75. When his brother Harry crashed out, that left just the one Judd sibling left, Taylor in his BMW 318 in 23rd place, 2:18.23. Deborah Kibble and navigator Heather Barton had their Mitsubishi Lancer Tommy 2 home in 22nd place in 2:15.69. Next was the immaculate Nissan Pulsar V2R, which won the prize for best presented car of Ian Warren. His time, 2:15.62. Into the top 20 now, and in 20th place, Josh Mitchell in Trevor Crow's Subaru Impreza. Josh's best time at 2:15.30. Transparent Englishman James Watts was next in his Impreza. Liking the fast roads garnered him second in class, rally four-wheel drive, and 19th overall in 2:14.32. Even though he sat out qualifying runs 2, 3, 4 and 6, Ollie Ward's 2:13.89 in Q7 was good enough for 18th place. Jeff Judd brought his recently acquired Toyota AE86 home in 17th place with a best run of 2:13.66 to win the 0 to 2000 two-wheel drive class. Best of the group and fastest of the quads on his Yamaha Banshee two-stroke machine, Tim Dorr was 16th overall in 2:13.32. The bragging rights for the fastest Judd run, even though he crashed out of the competition, went to Harry, 2:13.27 and 15th. This crash having repercussions for both Harry and Ari Pettigrew. It meant that Pettigrew will be looking for another car to continue his competition. Stefan Moser-Rust had won the Model Garage Sealed Hillclimb at last year's event in this car. Here on the gravel and slightly detuned, he ran 14th in 2:12.40. Doing what he always does and getting faster with each run was Chris Hay in his MR2, 13th overall and unlimited two-wheel drive champion in 2:10.10. 12th place, and still yet to explore the limits of his hybrid Mitsubishi, was Christchurch's Jeremy Beaton, 2:09.79. Because of Harry Judd's crash in the car that he and Ari Pettigrew were sharing, it meant Ari would end up driving some different cross cars. This one to 11th overall in 2:04.61. So there we are, we have found our Mount Shop top 10 and they will be next in the shootout, right after the break. Welcome back to the Mount Shop Horsepower Hill Climb for 2022. We're into the business end of proceedings. We have found our top 10. They will go from 10 through to 1. And first up, it will be car number 9. More in the car, more in you as we get to the business end?
No, not at all to be fair. No, there's nothing left in it. Yeah, we'll see how we go.
All right, mate, all the best.
Just a bit of fun.
Jacob's been in or around the 2-minute 10 second mark, his best time at 2:08.77. That got him into the 10. We watch the action as he heads down into the Mount Shop camshaft corner, and then it is a straight full throttle blast down the valley here. This is a wonderful piece of road. Take the onboard shots there, looking very relaxed as Jacob Bennett has been driving Porsches up in Germany in the past, been rallying on and off for quite some time when the budget allows, and has been loving his time here at Waimate. Into the flashback dipper he goes. Bit of a gentle exit there, but I guess it's better to be cautious than a little bit too ambitious and lose a little bit of time. This is the corner you've got to get absolutely dead right as he works his way up towards the Lorry Forestry hairpin. Got to hold on to a lot of speed through here because it doesn't look it, certainly from the drone shot, but it is deceptively steep. Oh, and he just gets it just a fraction, a little bit wide there, just drifts off, and that's going to cost him maybe a tenth, maybe a little bit more. Now he starts the climb up to the Alpine Energy Proctor Park, named after the late great Clark Proctor, who was a huge supporter of the Waimate 50 GT series and the Street Attack, and also in the hill climb as well. So down past the spectator area he goes. Next up it will be the first of the Blind Brows, and they're loving this. Look at that, as the vista pans out right towards the Pacific Ocean, then up toward the Southern Alps as well. Back on the chase here with our high-speed drone with Jacob Bennett. As I said, 2:08.77 was the time. That got him into the 10. What can he do here? Will he be able to advance up? Heading down towards the Mount Shot Subaru. Now the Subaru, for people in the know, will know that that is the name, if you like, the trade name for the Falcon GTHO. And Hemitawa, who is the boss of Mount Shop, is a huge Ford fan, and he just happens to own one of these cars. Heading down towards the Harcourt's Shane Adams corner. Lost Shane Adams a couple of years ago, one of the unsung heroes of New Zealand motorsport, one of the officials behind the scene, and then on to the flying finish with a 2:10.91, so appreciably slower than what we saw in his best qualifying run. So this is Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward is now the new distributor for the Seymour cross carts. These little cross carts powered by Suzuki GSR 750cc machines. Weigh around about 440 kg. They run EXT suspension, and they run about 150 horsepower through the sequential gearbox and the chain drive to the diff. Jeff was second in this car last year in the Model Garage sealed hill climb that preceded the Mount Shop hill climb in 2021. You can see there as he works his way towards the valley floor. At 750 Suzuki, pretty much stock standard, really gets to turn in the revs, probably about 11,000 RPM. Beautiful shots from the drone as we capture the action here at the Mount Shop horsepower hill climb for 2021. Heading into the flashback dipper, heading into the Lorry Forestry hairpin. Once again, keeps the power on, keeps the pressure up, keeps the speed up as he starts to climb up the hill now towards the Alpine Energy Proctor Park spectator point. These cars are deceptively fast. We've seen from the antics of Matt Penrose, who came second to Hayden Padden in this event last year. Jeff's best time, a 2:08.20. That got him in 9th quickest into the Mount Shop top 10. Have a check of the split time, 1:23.67. Two Blind Brows here to get your attention, especially at full throttle. And when the car doesn't weigh much more than 440 kg, there's some airtime to be had as well. Down towards the Subaru he goes. Now it's the gentle right-hander, and then down for the last corner, and that is the Harcourt's Shane Adams corner. Down through the gearbox he goes once again. Last corner on the journey, heading down towards the McKeown flying finish, and he will stop the clock with a 2:04.13. So that's a huge improvement for Jeff Ward. He goes to the top of the table with that 2:04.13. Another semi-cross car next to go. This is Sean Haggerty, known as the Flying Haggis. Sean double drove here last year at the Mount Shop Hill Climb. He drove his Subaru Impreza, and he drove this car, the cross car. And the times were very, very similar, and in the end the cross car was faster. You're riding on the right shoulder of Sean Haggerty, one of the more colourful characters of the rally scene here in the South Island. And he tells me the only drawback with the cross car is that he can't have his daughter Bella sitting alongside him doing the navigating. Through the flashback dipper he goes, semi-sideways as he gets the job done, grabbing gears once again, and along the valley floor he comes, being tracked by our drone, heading into the Lorry Forestry hairpin. Let's see how he handles it. You want to cut the apex nice and early, and as I said, retain the speed, keep the forward momentum going down through the sequential gearbox. Let's have a look at the split time, 51.57, so he's slightly up, climbing, all the way to the Alpine Energy spectator point, the Proctor Park spectator point. Great place to watch the action here at the Mount Shop horsepower hill climb for 2020. Back on board here with Haggerty. Still climbing as he works his way toward the spectator area. Then it's full throttle blast. Heading down towards the Mount Shop Subaru. Second split coming up, 1:22.80. Oh, and Haggerty using all the road a little bit more. 1:22.80, he is monstering the time here. Once again being tracked by a high-speed drone. Here's Mr. Haggerty. 2:04.95 that got him into the top 10. This looks like we might see a bit of improvement. Have a look at the way the car rises and falls on the suspension as he works his way down towards the Harcourt Shane Adams corner. Nice and tidy, once again close to the apex of the corner, then drift out a little bit wide. 2:04.95 the first time to get in the 10. 2:02.18, we've got a new fastest time, and it belongs to Sean Haggerty in the CMOG cross car. This is the car that Sean is sharing with Harry Silcock. Harry, the son of the famous father, in John Silcock, a past Ashley Forest champion, also making a name these days in classic rallying in a very fast Mazda. This is his son double driving today. He's also out there in a Toyota Starlet. His best time to get into the 10 at 2:04.74. You're right, once again on the shoulder of Harry Silcock. Saw Harry performing with aplomb at the Ashley Forest just a few weeks ago in this very car. Shares this car with Sean Haggerty. Through the flashback dipper he goes. Back on board here as he grabs the gears through the sequential gearbox. 6-speed sequential gearbox, about 150 horsepower at the rear wheels for the Portuguese CMOG cross cars. Now being distributed here in New Zealand by Jeff Ward. Split tells you Harry's got a bit of work to do. Oh, Harry just loses a little bit of time coming out of the Lorry Forestry hairpin, and that's going to cost him. It's going to cost him momentum as he starts to climb the hill now, heading towards the Alpine Energy Proctor Park spectator point. This is hard work for these 750cc Suzuki motorcycle engine powered carts. 440 kilograms, so they're light. They run the EXT suspension. Pretty much a controlled class of motorsport in New Zealand, as so many classes are. Heading up past the spectators he goes now. At best time 2:04.74 for Harry Silcock. Being chased all the way by a high-speed drone as he heads into the blind brow that is the Mount Shop Subaru. Once again using all of the suspension travel that the EXT suspension allows him. Back on board with him here as he works his way towards the finish line now, the flying finish, just the Harcourt's Shane Adams corner to get through. Just some left-right switchback and on to the flying finish. 2:04.74 to get there. Is it going to be quicker? Yes it is, 2:02.66. But that means Harry Silcock now slots into the second fastest time. Sean Haggerty still leading as we welcome Scott Jones to the start line, the McKeown start line, and his Mitsubishi Evo 8. Scott's another one that seems like he's been around for a long time. Most of his deeds at the Waimate 50, the GT weekend, and the Street Attack, whereas in the Evo 1. Here he is on board. You'll notice Scott never wears driving gloves, prefers to drive barehanded. His best time to get into the 10, a 2:05.81. Been in the sport for the last 13 odd years and competing in rallies and hill climbs. Best result was a third overall at Ashley Forest and second overall here at the Waimate McKeown Petroleum Waimate 50 GT Series of 2012. Sponsored by Jonesy's Contractors, that's his own business. Goodyear Tyres and Auto Centre of Timaru, and under the hood has been Rapid Performance, so you know that he's making good horsepower. Through the hairpin he goes, heading up the hill now. Pleasant Point, Scott Jones, best time 2:05.81, slightly slower at the split than Silcock. Totally different audio experience, not the screaming Suzuki 4-stroke, but the 4-cylinder Mitsubishi Evo 8 of Scotty Jones, heading up towards the Alpine Energy Spectator Park. 37 these days, been in the sport for the last 13 or 14 years. Best part of a second and a half down at the Alpine Energy split on Silcock, 1:24.44. You can always guarantee that Scott's going to give it a right old go. Now heading towards the first of the blind brows. This is the Mount Shop Subaru, named after the Falcon GDHO. We know that Hemi from Mount Shop is a massive Ford fan. Back on board, and look at the concentration on the face of Scott Jones. see the dust a bit of an issue as well. The weather has been absolutely stonking here at Waimate, but it has meant no wind, and that means the dust hangs around. 2:05.81 to get here, 2:04.06. So Scott Jones now has posted the third fastest time, 2:04.06. Sean Haggerty, 2:02.18, still the fastest time on the hill. Welcome back to the Mount Shop Horsepower Hill Climb for 2022 here at Waimate. Sean Haggerty has the fastest time, 2:02.13. But there are some fast cars still to come, and this is one of them. This is Jared Owens. He's a 29-year-old out of Christchurch. Jared, how would you rate your weekend?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. It's my first time here, so I've been learning as I go, but I think I've just learnt the track maybe.
You picked the right time to do it. We're into the top 10 shootouts.
Yeah, well, it's now or never. It's time to go as fast as I've ever gone and keep it on the road.
Great advice for himself, Jared Owens, 29 years old from Christchurch. He's been playing the long game. He's been getting faster and faster and faster as the 2 days have unfolded. We chase him here as he works his way out of the Mount Shop camshaft corner. Heading down the valley floor where he gets up into 6th gear. Not quite there yet though. Heading towards the flashback dipper. Just a picture perfect day here at Waimate. Down through the gearbox, into the dipper he goes. Nice and tidy out of there. Now he's along the valley floor once again. Grabbing gears as he heads towards the next obstacle, and that is the lorry forestry hairpin. We're going to get a bird's eye view of that as he works his way towards this tight right-hander. And that's a pretty good execution. You see him drop down through the gearbox and got good traction coming out. And you've got to hold that to head up the hill, heading towards the Alpine Energy Proctor Park spectator point. Doesn't look it from the air, obviously it doesn't, but this is very, very steep. And it pushes these little 750cc engines to their absolute limits. Jared's been third in the New Zealand Hill Climb Championships. He loves the street sprints and the hill climbs and circuit racing. And the Alpine Energy Split tells you he's up on Silcock. This is going to be a fast run. Best time to get here was a 2:03.30. There'll be another one looking for an improvement, 1:21.79 the split time for Jared Owens. Is that going to translate into something faster than the 2:03.30? Just about grabbing some here as he heads over another one of the blind dips here and down towards the Harcourt's Shane Adams corner. You're back on board with Jared Owens. There is the Harcourt's corner. It's a swift right-left combo, and then it's on to the McKeown Petroleum flying finish. 2:03.30 to get here. This is going to be faster. It is 2:02.17. And Jared Owens goes to the top, but fractionally from Sean Haggerty. Harry Silcock in third, Scott Jones, Ward and Bennett. What a story this is. This is Michael Tall. Michael, you said to me that the ideal finish for you would be to push it onto the trailer and all be in one piece and shiny, bright and new like it is at the moment.
Yep, that's still the plan, but I would like to go a little bit quicker, so yeah, I'll take a little bit more risk now.
Well, 10 weeks ago this car was a smoking wreck, as we told you on the side of the road. Michael broke his back in that accident and it was virtually a throwaway. But the team at Submit and four-wheel drive upgrades and Michael calling in a few favours, they got a donor car. They ripped most of the gear out of this car. It runs Mitsubishi Evo 5 running gear in the Mitsubishi Mirage. They put it in the donor car, and what you see before you is an immaculate little car and a fast little car as well. And while Michael had started slowly, he's been getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Through the flashback dipper he goes. Best time so far, 2:03.11, and that was in qualifying number 6. Slightly slower in qualifying number 7 with a 2:03.48. And looking to go quicker than that again. He's a past winner on the hill in the hill climb. He's a past winner of the overall weekend series championship. 52.53. He's got a bit of work to do if he wants to match Jared Owens' time. Up the steep hill he goes towards the Alpine Energy Proctor Park Spectator Hill. Well, normally it's Michael and Lorna, but it's Michael on his own today. Lorna watching on, obviously. It was Michael and Lorna when he won the overall championships here back in the day. 1:23.78 as our drone starts to chase the flying man from Christchurch. Got his start in motorsport on 2 wheels. It's one just about all there is going in 4 though. Over the Mount Shop Subaru he goes, looking for a time better than the 2:03.11, and looking at the split and looking at the speed that he's carrying, this is going to be quite appreciably better than the 2:03.11. You're riding on board here with Michael Tall. He negotiates the Harcourts, Shane Adams left-right combination, the chicane if you like, and now down toward the flying finish. 2:03.11 to get here, 2:00.19. We've got a new fastest time, and it's Christchurch's Michael Tall. Next to go, Ari Pettigrew.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day for us. Obviously, we've only had one run in this car today, so with Harry's we missed that this morning. So, yeah, hopefully we can have an improvement on our last run.
So waiting on the McKeown start line is Ari Pettigrew. Away he goes. This is Jeff Ward's car. As we told you before, he was sharing the drive of the cross car with Harry Judd, but Harry had that accident which ripped the front out of the cross car, and then Ari had to beg, borrow and steal another car so he could compete here. Last year he did double duty in his BMW 318 and the cross car. This year it's all about the cross car. These amazing little vehicles out of Portugal, 750cc Suzuki engines. Power them close to 170 kilometres per hour on the valley floor here at Waimate. You're on board here with Ari Pettigrew, grabbing 5th gear as he works his way towards the Lorry Forestry hairpin. One of the most important corners, got to get it absolutely dead right, and I think Ari does that. 49.27 at the hairpin, so that's there or thereabouts. A 2:02.71 to get here into the top 10. Grabbing 5th gear as he works his way towards the spectator point now. Ari was touted in his early career as the next Hayden Padden, who just didn't have the budget to go full-on racing, but certainly proved a few believers out of his antics in his BMW 318i and also in the cross car. 6-speed sequential gearbox, EXT suspension, chain driven. Over the Mount Shop Subaru goes Ari Pettigrew out of Christchurch, now works for Hayden Padden. Oh, just gets a little bit of a push on. That's going to cost him maybe 1/100 of a second, maybe a little bit more. 2:02.71 to get here. You're back on board with him now as he works his way towards the Harcourts, Shane Adams corner. Oh, and he gets very, very sideways, lifts the left front wheel, and well, a moment of major out of control for Ari Pettigrew. Shows how hard he's pushing. 2:00.51, it's an improvement, but it doesn't knock off Michael Tall. This is the guy that was second last year to Hayden Padden. This is Matt Penrose. Now, just to add to the drama, Matt had a DNF in the last qualifying round. They've been working on the car to get it back to its very best. Matt is a 2-time New Zealand cross car champion. He won the first championship after the completion of the Mount Shop Horsepower Hill in 2021. And he has already wrapped up the 2022 championship as well. Heading down into the Flashback Dipper, you ride with Matt Penrose. Second to Hayden Padden last year. The only other vehicle to go under the 2 minutes so far here at Waimate. Can he do it again? He's competed here before in a Subaru Impreza. But he says this is a totally different kettle of fish. Second at the Golden 1200 Hillclimb behind Hayden Padden. Second behind Hayden Padden here as well when Padden made his debut with his Hyundai EV. As I said, he's already been under the 2 minute mark, 1:59.12. That was in qualifying 6. Couldn't finish qualifying 7 just to ring out the drama a little bit more. But now he is back to his very, very best. Are we going to see a new fastest time here from Matt Penrose? Riding on board as he works his way past the spectator point. 1:19.03, that's the fastest split we've seen at the Alpine Energy Point, so this is looking very, very good for Matt Penrose. Are we going to see the upset here of all upsets at the Mount Shop Horsepower Hill Climb? Plenty of air as he leaps over the Subaru. Matt Penrose out of Christchurch, he's the CMOG Cross Car champion. Is he going to be the Mount Shop Hill Climb champion? Heading down towards the finish line very, very shortly. Just the Harcourt's corner to negotiate the chicane, if you will, the left-right. Oh, he gets a little bit sideways but keeps it tidy. Down towards the finish line now. Is he going to beat his previous time? You betcha. 1:57.49. Matt Penrose goes to the top. And that is a stonking time for Matt Penrose. One man to go. He is the record holder, and this is Sloane Cox.
Hopefully we've done enough work now. The car's back how it was, to enough to win the day, but we're happy with the record, but let's see what else we can do in this final run in the shootout.
Well, he holds the record at a 1:56.52, but then it all started to go wrong. He had driveline problems. He had to borrow a front drive shaft from Michael Tall, but they're back. They missed out their last qualifying run to get the car back to its best racing spec. We chase him as he works his way down the valley floor here in the Mount Shop Hill Climb for 2022. You're on board. It's his sister, Taryn, calling the notes for Sloane Cox, a past New Zealand Junior Rally champion. This is the ex-Andrew Hawkswood Pikes Peak car, been to Pikes Peak twice with Andrew. Best result was a 4th place, but it's had lots and lots of fine fettling and modification since then. A new Borg Warner turbo, a brand new Hollinger 6-speed gearbox, brand new drive and suspension packages. Best time so far, that 1:56.52. That is the course record. He's a little bit slow coming out of the Laurie Forestry hairpin. Is that going to hand the win to Matt Penrose? It's going to be desperately close. Penrose's time of 1:57.45, shaving plenty of time off his previous best. What can Sloane Cox do? He heads up towards the Alpine Energy, Proctor Park, Spectator Point, the Taslow Engineering Hill Climb Special, getting very, very sideways indeed, battling for all the traction he can get as he comes up over the top, and the Alpine Energy split says he's the fastest. 1:18.53, Sloane Cox. This is going to be close. It was a 1:19 and change for Matt Penrose. What is Cox going to finish with here? Over the Subaru jump he comes. Now he's got to negotiate one more blind brow, and then it is the chicane, the Harcourt, Shane Adams corner. 1:57.49 for Matt Penrose. Is this man going to go faster? 1:56 is his course record. He's a little ways off that. But is he going to be faster than the 1:57.49? He gets very, very sideways, nearly clips the tyres. It's all going a little bit wrong here. This is a whole lot closer than Sloane Cox ever thought, but he does it. 1:57.14. He beats the 1:57.49 of Matt Penrose, but it is close here at the Mount Shop Horsepower Hill Climb. Rob Aikman hands over the champagne and the trophy to Rotorua's Sloane Cox. He came, he saw, and eventually he conquered. Sloane Cox, the trip from the north has been a prosperous one for you.
Oh, amazing weekend. I was starting to go to plan, we broke the record, and after that went backwards a little bit, but we still knew what it took. Those 2 runs that I didn't get, almost paid the price and nearly didn't get that first place, but wanted the record, he wanted the win, and we got both those this weekend.
So the overall result shows you that Sloane Cox is the champion, but it was desperately close between himself and Matt Penrose in the CMOG Bravo Cross Car. Michael Tall in 3rd place, followed by Ari Pettigrew. Handshakes all round for the top 3 here at the Mount Shop Horsepower Hill Climb. Here is the run of your champion, Sloane Cox.